My name is Dontez Lindsay. I am the general manager of Ducks Trading LLC, as well as the lead trainer of StockCraft. I'm not a financial advisor, nor a CPA, and the content I create is for entertainment and educational purposes only. I trade in my account, and everything I do is hypothetical in nature because it doesn't happen in your account. My experience with trading is not typical, nor does it guarantee that similar results will be obtained by you. I am merely sharing my opinion with no guarantee of gains or losses in investments. Remember, day trading can be extremely risky. You should be prepared to lose all the funds that you use for day trading. In particular, you should not fund day trading activities with retirement savings, student loans, second mortgages, emergency funds, funds set aside for purposes such as education or home ownership, or funds required to meet your living expenses. Further, certain evidence indicates that investments less than $50,000 will significantly impair the ability of a day trader to make a profit. Of course, an investment of $50,000 or more will no way guarantee a success. With that out of the way, let's get into the content. Good morning, guys. So yeah, I'm here. I don't know what's going on though. I haven't come to a conclusion yet. But other than that, how's everybody doing? How'd yesterday turn out for you? Good morning, Kevin. So overnight, the SPY it gapped up. Yeah, SPY it had a nice bounce. I was holding VERU at like 1380. It didn't crack as fast as I wanted, so I covered. I saw the stock closed around 400, and I saw that as bullish, but I never would have thought that it would go all the way up to like 407. That's just ridiculous. Now to be fair, like futures keeps trading when we're asleep, and so they did some work. That big gap from like 400 to 407. Yikes. It's also May 17th, which is 3 days before one of the major contracts and options expires, which is May 20th. And so yeah, there's bound to see some action. There's been retail participation, shorts covering, puts covering, a peak in the dollar, oil rising, and a bunch of other stuff that shows there's going to be like a temporary rally. But I actually think I might go against this today. Just because everything doesn't seem like it has actual volume. Like even if we did just have this, I don't think anyone would actually buy it because they might buy a top. And so I might be doing a month-long put right here, expecting this to go back down to like 980 by the beginning of the week. But that's just my initial thoughts for now. In the meantime, there's going to be all kinds of stocks that are going to be affected by this, and it's going to raise it. Your screen angle changed. Yeah. Let me make sure that's actually clear. Yeah, I had Steven come in the other day, and he looked at my setup like one glance. He's just like, "Why is your bed showing?" And I'm like, "Is that bad?" And he's like, I kind of think so. I was just like, why don't you turn it that way? It makes it like more room and like you don't feel as cramped. I'm like, you know what? I'll try anything once. And so like this is my try. Also, I have like two, what do you call those? It's not a tripod, but it's another kind of stand I have one for a phone and one for like the camera. I just took the one that was off for the phone. I put it down. So before you guys were looking down on me, now I'm looking down on you. Not really though. I don't even like look the direction of the camera a lot of the times. But since I put it right between the two screens that I have up, now like looking at the two screens, at least I can see you in the middle with a little white light. But yeah, that camera angle change. In the meantime, I'd say today is going down rather than up. I expected this kind of move yesterday instead of today, and so now I'm at like a loss for now. In the meantime, I feel like it's going to do the same stuff it's been doing past few days, which, you know, the first hour is going to be the opposite direction that it's going to finish. So like, you know, yesterday you had to go down up to 10 o'clock, and, you know, then it came all the way back into perk, and then it kind of finished in that direction. And then similar thing before, like went all the way up. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It's no, it was some news that came out. Other than the Elon Musk like continuing the Twitter deal. Something else. Yeah, I still haven't made heads or tails of it. I actually might just sit on my hands today. Yesterday I lost another 3K. Like it was actually 2K, but after all the fees, then it became like 3K. I like that bed. Hit and miss, held VERU overnight. Yeah, a lot of people, including Steven, were in a VERU. What is it? Dontez getting that random chat video action at night. Yeah. I've always looked up to you and Steven. Oh, we get to see where all the magic comes from. I don't know why I went straight to my nose. I was like, they can see my inside my nose. But there's another thing I was saying. Yeah, today it's another like 50-50 heads or tails day, like until it decides the direction. Overall, I still think, you know, most people are still scared by the Fed, and they won't actually put or like buy in the market, especially here, which could be considered as another top before we go another leg down. When a rally does happen, I expect it to go like from like 380, like low 380s, upper 370s, all the way to like 410. And that's supposed to be like a big rally over a day or two. And it's going to be similar to the day when the Fed talked about the price hikes, and then it went like $15-20 in a day, like something like that. And then continuous over a few days if it doesn't reach it all in one day. But now I just see everything as shorts covering, and that mostly comes from looking at the VIX and looking at volume. So yesterday the VIX didn't go under like 27, and so when the VIX goes down and then the stock goes up, you have to remember the VIX is pretty much puts. It's fear, it's pessimism in the market. And so if the VIX is going down, if the VIX is going down, but the market's going up, that's I'm trying to make sure not to get these backwards. I always get it backwards. So when the market goes up and then the puts go up, that shows that the market's strong, because puts and fear in the VIX are supposed to like bring it down. And so if it's still going up, that's a bullish thing. But if it's the opposite, if they're both going in the same direction, that shows their strength in that direction. There we go. That makes everything a lot easier. So if the stock's going down but the VIX is going down, that shows there's weakness in the market. If they're both going up, that shows there's strength in the market, because they're opposing each other. Ugh. Too much brain power in the morning. Also feel like I'm slightly getting a cold. Too much over trading. There's another thing I wanted to say. I wanted to check to see if I had a update on my day call. So pretty much with that day call, I told you about it yesterday. Friday, I went over my buying power, and TZ gave me a email. And the email pretty much said, the amount that you went over in your buying power, pay us back 4 times the amount, or we're going to lock your account in 5 business days. We're going to turn it into a cash account, because that's what a day trade does, or day trade call does. And so this might be turned into a cash account for 90 days as a restriction because I violated the rules. Now, the way to get out of that is, to pay them, 4 times the fee. Like, not to pay them, but to actually put it in the account so they know that I'm good for that amount, instead of just like, buying a lot of leverage and like breaking the rules by, going past the buying power, which I didn't even know you could do. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I still don't know if they're still holding me to that, or if that was just like a normal like margin call, house call kind of thing, where if you go under your threshold or over your standard and stuff like that, then you have to fix that before the end of the day or before a certain amount of days, and then they'll give you a penalty. I don't know if it's just like a one and done penalty, and I still haven't asked them about it. Yeah, I'm slacking. Gotta get my stuff together. In the meantime, according to the same email, I should have like, just the 5 days they were talking about. If they weren't including that Friday, I should still have till Friday. Yeah, because 5 business days is just another week in the trading world. But for now, yeah, again, I'm not touching anything, because if I do, I feel stupid if I went long on something today. Unless it was in a penny stock area. Then I could do something with like supply and demand. Speaking of penny stocks, AGRI yesterday, that ran a lot. I wouldn't have traded it any other way than long, since it's under like $2. The DTST, I had my chance to get out a lot, like with a profit, spiked up to 360 a few times. Never got out until, it pretty much broke my risk at 330. And I'm pretty sure I'm the one that broke the risk, because I had that much money in there. Like, every time I would get out, I could see my actual size do something to it, and that just made me even more nervous. At the end of the day, lost money on my longs, and then got half of it back on my shorts. Still down. Let me do some investigation of what's going on, what's popular, what's the wall of worry. Walmart filing. Oh man, I missed this video. Putin policy, economic suicide. Wait, no, Putin EU energy policy, economic suicide. Let me put this over here. How do I do this? Put you here, you there. I should put up power toys. So I can. No, this is fine. I still need to get used to the camera being over here. I look at myself and I look guilty. Like I did something I wasn't supposed to. Let me just turn the camera off. It'll make me feel better. Here we go. Where's the chat? Oh. Yeah. Yeah, nobody's saying anything. Yeah, it's still a swing. Ooh, you gonna get squeezed. Oh, small swing, but yeah, still a swing. If anything, I'd rather swing this with him than do anything else in like a large cap until this actually gets a top. It's like the most that can happen is if retail comes in today, mixed with like the people that were trying to short cover before May 20th, which, you know, Tuesday and Thursday are always the turnaround days. I want to give it more time, at least to 10, maybe even 10:30, just so I can think a little freely. But yeah, oh, where'd the chat go? Yeah, I don't need this space. Also, don't see anything up that's worth trading, even though they all say like 3,000, 2,000, 1,000%. Which I could even trade GME. You know, all the things I would trade right now are swings. And to pretty much try to swing to the downside of you know, low 90s, which could be till Friday. But if I do that, I'll lock up a lot of capital. I only can hold ×2 overnight. But the chances of me missing like a actual like decent play in the small caps is pretty low. And the more I think about it, yeah, let me just, okay. Feel like a punk, Henry. What? Wait, what? You, etc. Wait, feel like a punk, Henry, you, etc. Oh, feel like punk, Henry, and you, etc. are my family if you show bed. Aw. Anything going on in the small cap land? No, I haven't seen anything. Okay, I do recognize PPSI, which ran before. But there's no volume on it. What? No, that's a lie. There's 13 volume. PPSI. Yeah, but in terms of just pure range, there's nothing I see. Yep, I remember PPSI 300 volume went all the way up to 12, and even before that, 80s and about like 100 in the fours, if I remember right. Oh, sevens. Oh, okay, this is probably what I'm talking about. We're here in the fours. First time it ran, then it came back. Yeah, but main thing is it's back to 3, so that's nowhere near all this. And even if it did get to that point, it took a lot less volume to get past it, and so all that is pretty much canceled. Yeah, so still nothing going on. I just remembered the ticker. Might turn into something next week. Yeah, because it's 6 months. That's a year. Yeah, nothing. I had to triple, double, quadruple check. Wait, no, there's no volume. I kind of want to see what GME does. Okay. Oh wait, let me look at it. Anything going on in the small caps? I'm totally too lazy to open my TZ. Totally given. Yeah, it makes it easier if I just put this out. Right. Come on. I want you all to share. Yeah, Twitter definitely doesn't want to share. Yeah, at this point, I might as well just put Power Toys on. Oh, okay. This actually does form to fit it. I could do it like that then. Yeah, so the reason I'm stalling and doing all this movement and stuff around is because if I don't, I'll get like a lot of FOMO. So I can afford to like waste like a little time here and there. Instead of just rushing into a trade and then getting burned out like later in the day. Yeah, I don't need to show this. Oh, notice in the background I was using level 2 on VERU. I was just like, why isn't this going down? It was like, you must watch Elon Musk on All In podcast. I've been watching him on so many things lately. Like whenever he talks with like Kathy Wood and like a few other like large investors, they get me weak. Like his face when he sees people he doesn't like, he looks so intense. I'm too lazy to open my TZ. Totally given up on the market. Yeah, Yeah, giving up on this market. Yeah, this market is insane. I somehow made a lot of money on SPY options yesterday. Good job. Get back those losses. And then run. Like, stuff's definitely not normal. I like the new angle. Thanks. VERU is just refusing to die. Yeah, it's so it makes sense. Why Steven shorted yesterday? It was 103 volume, like on the total day, and over like half of the volume was in this spike. And so around, this area, there's about like 50 million, and that should have been easy to crack once this entire day, which is it was like a third of it. Yeah, 40 million. That should have been able to crack that area, and like it should have been a free fall. But again, yesterday, just overall in the market, it was actually pretty strong. It just trades really fast around 400. Like there's no actual strength in the market. That's just shorts covering. And the QQQ, the NASDAQ, like all the stuff like that, that's just the optimism in the market. But that shouldn't apply to this, because this is clearly overextended, full of supply that should have ran out already. And then the cap is big enough to the point where you can't even manipulate it that much, because it's 60 million float and already has 800 million market cap. And so like it's clearly inflated coming from $6. Yeah, like this should have been down already. But in the meantime, even if this did go up to like 408, there's no guarantee that this would come back up to, new highs. Not only because it had the history and like resistance like all the way up to that point, but it lost its momentum. Like the momentum to get back up to that point, like in the 20s, it happened after taking a stop at 15 before, then going up. But as you can see, the volume is increasing. We already had a day in between to where it pretty much just chilled right at the same place that it opened, which was 13. It was actually like 14 to 12 and then back to 13. But same thing, it pretty much consolidated. Now I will say there are some gap up shorts that do look like that. Like that's one of the variations. But I don't think this is the one. Okay. There you are. Did you ever short DTST? You located 7K shares, man. Yeah, so yeah, I spent $400 on 7K shares for DTST. Never did it. My aim was supposed to be like 400s area. It had a bottom from the day where it actually went up to that area before, and yeah, that area became pretty strong. I wouldn't count on it being that strong. So like this 40 million right here at 380, at 380, right where the bottom line is, that's where most of the volume of this 40 million was. And it tested that area and it came back. We never even got close to it at the, like any other point in the day. There's several times where I'm at a way too high of an average because I didn't wait for the pullback. So I'm at like 348, 349 with a lot of money, and it keeps going to 60. Like these little candles right here, I'm up like what, maybe 1.5K. I know I can like take profits. I did take some profits, but then I'll add it right back and I'll just be at the same average again. Cause I'll take off like half, then I'll put the half back, like on the dips, trying to keep a fixed risk. At the end of the day, you see what happened. It slowly started going down, and then like this big candle right here, once it went to 35 and then it's already 12:30, I'm missing like moves on Tesla and VERU and some other stuff. Started getting FOMO. I just covered my position, and then like, eventually it came right back to the same place. So I could have spent my entire day just holding that long. It still come out right at the same place. So I took a small loss. At the end of the day, it still did have a resistance, and the thing I was trying to do, I want to say it didn't have an edge. It just wasn't ideal, what I was trying to do. But also the short wasn't ideal. I think the deciding factor would have been if I decisively pulled up my chart once I knew that DTST was one of the tickers I traded before, and I saw the intraday chart of that previous day, because like that kind of switched up the story for me, and it kind of made me feel like a little stupid to actually keep holding it. Because if you look at the intraday, which is right, I'm pretty sure it's this one. Yeah, remember this traded 40 million shares, and you can see the early shorts, they're at this like 380 line, and so they got squeezed all the way up to like probably here, and then it just went all the way down, and it still respected that level, which was like a sign of strength. That's just the morning, by the way. Like that only goes up to like 11. I don't actually know what it looks like before that point. I can find out, but all I know is this is a respected level, and that by itself should have gave me a you need to cover as soon as you can with minimum damage kind of signal. Yeah, but something else I was saying. Let's see, how much time do we still? Yep, still at the same place. No actual breakout of whatever it's trying to do. We're at 10. You need to dab when you sneeze. I see, I used to do that, but then I'd take the dab too serious, and then I'd get whiplash. The VERU covered 14, not ideal. Okay, the not ideal that he mentioned, that meant that you shouldn't just like rush to go in, just thinking that it's still a swing. Yeah, he's saying that the swing is not ideal, not the actual 14 level. I'm trying to think about what's actually required for this to like break that resistance. Overall, if we do see a turnaround, it's going to bleed or it's affect everything, and then breaking that would be almost impossible. So at the end of the day, I kind of want to see Tesla, because Tesla and a few other companies, they're buckets with holes in it, and so like no matter what happens in the market, it's still going down, but the rate at which it goes down is going to be affected by the market. So Tesla, since it did that Twitter deal, the whole talk about Amazon and Apple and everything being like a bubble, and then fundamental damage from like earnings and guidance and everything in the overall economy, it makes Tesla more likely to go like trade a lot lower than it has been, in terms of compared to its hype days in like the thousands and thousands and upper hundreds. Now 800 might be the peak for a long time. Recession kind of highs. Now, I want to see if it gets down to 600. But main thing is, if we want to get to 600, you're probably going to have to get like at least 380. Minimum 380. But I still say more down than up. But I'm also a bear. Yeah. So, what am I saying? I forgot what I was doing. Yeah, VR is refusing to die. You should put up a green screen and then you could be in Hawaii. I have a Snapchat, I have it on my OBS. It's so weird. What do you call this? Snapcam. Yeah, I have Snapcam. I don't know how to go back and forth between that cam and this cam without turning off the stream to put it on. And so it's one of those things like I have to have it on the whole time. And I don't want to have a cowboy hat on the whole time while I'm trading. It would be distracting. Yeah. And I'll be like, I look too good. Narcissistic. Look at that. Ooh. But I was gonna say, you should put on a green screen. PPSI probably not going to work long. What you think? Yeah, not gonna work. I don't know. Full disclosure, only holding 400 shares down. Fuck, $50. So Dontez, so Steven was saying those long candles are basically all shorts covering. Yeah. Main thing is the ratio of calls to puts. You can see it in the VIX. And so if the VIX doesn't actually go up, that's a sign that it's mostly puts. If the VIX doesn't actually go down, it's a sign of what do you call it? Yeah, at the end of the day, you can like look at the VIX and tell whether it's actually buying or not compared to the amount of volume. Why is it so hard to breathe? This is hot. Very hot. Okay. So Steve was trying to say this long. My man, Dontez, Pedro. Have check your commissions for DTST. Did you get charged 0.99 per trade? Both buy and sell. That was an error on TZ's part. I'll check that. What else? Wait, can you explain why all that previous volume on PPSI would be canceled? I don't understand. Pretty much it had less volume and went higher. So if you have individual resistance, that just shows a lot of volume stuck at like a specific price range. If you have less volume, breaks that price range, you pretty much ignored all that support or resistance. And if you ignored it, you pretty much lost credibility in terms of like psychological pressures around that price area. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So everything before that point will be kind of a gamble. It kind of loses its edge. It loses its credibility. And at the end of the day, you're trying to be, full of, there shouldn't be any doubts. You want the resistances to be pretty close to your intraday trade, like within a year. and you also want it to not, have too many gaps in it. And if it does get like canceled like that, with like less volume goes higher, you can use pieces of it. But again, it lost most of its credibility. So a lot of people won't respect it because they'll just be like, oh, it only took this amount to go past it last time. And that's just a psychological part of it. The other part is this one's more detailed. It was like in the Duxinator. What do you call it? Well, it takes too much strength to recall in my memory. So, if I remember later, I'll tell you. Check. All right, so supposed to be a bigger page. Oh, there you are. Look at all those trades on DT, ST. Unless this is just it going in. Like, so I would have so much size that it would do it like that. Instead of me clicking the button that many times. So free. Yeah. The only thing I see is the end result, which is 7.95 commissions. And now you were saying that 0.9 per trade inside, buy or sell. Okay, that sounds about right. At 0.99. Yeah, I probably bought that many times. So let's do 7.5 divided by, okay, so 7.5 divided by 99. The beginning. 0.9. Okay, that's 8 times. That sounds about right. Open and closed 4 for each. Look, yours looks fine, but mine shows 0.99 each. Oh, why do I have commissions and you do not? What the fuck? Oh, what the hell? Lindsay, is that your surname? Yes. I had to remember what surname was. I was like, is that the last name? Is that your given name? Is that your maiden name? Is that your, yeah. Yeah, Lindsay was my grandpa. Yeah, Clifford. Man, it took me a while to realize, because I didn't see my grandpa for a while. I used to like that show Clifford the Big Red Dog, and I was like, man, why do I like this name Clifford? And then also later, down the road, I figured out it was actually a stereotypical like black guy name. It was like, oh, good old Clifford over there. I heard all the comedians talk about it. Yeah, but that's a different thing. No. Wait. I remember I needed a notary for something one day, and a guy with the last name Lindsay came up, and he ended up being my cousin on my mom's side. And I was like, oh wow, I forgot about that side of the family. And they were like, oh yeah, you come from a long line of like educated people. It's just your mom and like her people, they're the ones that fell off the branch. And I'm like, oh, so I'm a side branch to the main family. And I'm just like, okay, like, yeah, but yeah. wait, can you explain all the previous volume? I already saw that. You must watch Elon Musk on All In podcast. All In. Wait, hold on. What's All In podcast? That sounds like something I should be a part of. But nah, yeah, too much FOMO. I just want to see what it is though. Wait, is this Kevin or no, it's not Kevin. I don't know who that is. Recession Deep. Okay. I'll check that out. I'm gonna leave that up there. There's another thing I need to check out. Now $13 support has been formed on VERU. Yep. It's been tested. It's been confirmed. So if it spikes above $20, it wouldn't even be worth it. Yeah, it wouldn't. The margin, or what do you call it? The profit margin, it's too tight. We'd just be stuck in a consolidation for a while. Bless you. You need to dab when you sneeze. Okay, maybe I'm skipping some of these. Is there even going to be a summit in Europe? I'm not flying 20 hours to California. I don't think there's going to be any traveling anytime soon. Like anytime soon, at least. PPSI. How long do you think this market's going to bounce? So I'm expecting to crash in July. So earnings for Amazon, Apple, and like all the, you know, the big stocks, the ones that had their bubble bursted and supposed to be like downward momentum, like from here on. Most of those were projected to have bad earnings based off their guidance, and like, you know, again, a lot of the momentum being lost, a lot of the trust like from the customer being challenged. So if earnings actually do come out with another miss, because the earnings estimates were made in the beginning of the year, if they come out with another earnings miss, then that kind of signals a recession. And so like there's a lot of ways to define a recession. But one of those ways, other than like 30% off the highs in like the overall market, it's also 2 quarters of negative growth. And so like that's supposed to be like negative growth in GDP and like something else. But the same thing can be said with the guidance in a company. If you got 2 consecutive quarters of like negative growth, that shows like a big like blow to the symbol or the mission of the company, or the guidance, the future, the thing that makes that company, you know, trustworthy a little bit. So with these big giants, with, you know, like Tesla, where like I'm not saying they're zombies, but with the cult like following, taking words from like other YouTubers, it's going to be hard to keep that up if they actually can't keep the momentum going. And then remember, Tesla still had positive earnings, but it's still going down a lot for other reasons. And then, what do you call it? At first, I thought the amount of assets and stuff that were in China were going to affect stuff a lot more. But then we came to figure out that Tesla actually had different materials. They didn't have as much stake in China, and so they were an exception for a lot of it. Apple, each of them had their own like personal ways to get around the situation, but the overall is that doesn't guarantee that they'll be able to make the next one. I'm so congested. How do you think this market bounce gonna last? Oh yeah. So I think it's gonna be a crash in July. I think the bounce won't get past 410. The rally, like if you can consider this a rally, I think it should be over anywhere from like a day to a week. So how do I say it? The rallies in a bear market are the worst, like in terms of, they squeeze you the best, or like the most, because it's shorts covering plus retail participation. But after the like month full of getting beat up by the Fed and forced selling and like all this other stuff, before the next rate hike, there's still a lot of room for like emergency meetings and a few things to come in to scare all retail out. And remember, there's all kinds of headlines that said most of the retail lost all the gains they made in the past like quarantine. And so the chances of them putting that stem money back up to get it back to those like same levels, it's really hard. And like they tried it before, like in the low 14s, but then we got all the way down to 385. So max they could put it is like 410, and that's with the help of shorts covering. And I think that whole process will take less than a week, but more realistically, I think any kind of rally will only last a day. And so I thought that day was yesterday, but it might be today. At the end of the day, I'd rather just wait for a confirmation. And then, if today's the actual top, I'd feel comfortable risking some kind of swing mate today and then hold it into Friday. If I'm holding like 4 days, because today is Tuesday. If I get a put, I'm gonna get a month just in case. Yeah. If I'm holding a short, I'd like to wait till at least 12 to see what kind of move this would make. It'd be too late at that point if it didn't go down already. Yeah. No, that's all I have to say. I see. That makes sense. Thanks. Put on your salesman hat and plug the Duxinator. What is it? So I'd definitely sell the Duxinator over trading techniques any day. Like the Duxinator is a sequel to the trading techniques, and they're both mandatory. Not mandatory, but they're both ideal when it comes to setting a foundation for the trading career. But in this market, I can't actually see the small caps getting enough like range to have a profit margin. Is Steven going to do anything more to the Duxinator? uh, any updates, it it goes to the stream that's already on there. I don't know if he's gonna do any updates like anytime soon. So if he comes out with like another pattern, which there's definitely been new stuff that's been added, he'll wrap it up into a package and he'll put it on the back of like the Duxinator. But we haven't discussed anything on that, so I can't really say. Yeah, I forgot. So I like the Duxinator because it's short, it's clean, and like it's a lot more maneuverable, I want to say. But there's a lot more concept, like broader concept information and trading techniques that if you don't get that, you won't even understand the Duxinator. The Duxinator is more of an advanced analysis, and it's definitely clearer. Well, oh no, it's kind of hard for me to tell because like I remember the first like 5 times I watched trading techniques, I couldn't even fully grasp or perceive what was trying to be like told, and that's just because I had a very specific perception about Steven. And so the whole time, like I'm hearing him being tired, I'm hearing him being like excited, or I'm looking at his emotions. I'm not actually trying to learn the stock. But once I actually started like getting back into trading, that's where I'm just like, wow, every sentence is valuable. But up to that point, I've already made hasty conclusions on a lot of the stuff, and it messed up my foundation. And then it skewed my perception of like what happened in Duxinator. But Duxinator kind of took away those perceptions once I started like watching the Duxinator. But I didn't recognize how advanced it was until I'd had to go all the way back just to fix a hole in my foundation. So it's a big loop all the time. Yeah, it's dense. Yeah, it's definitely dense. But now I think about it, that's always how me and Steven have done things. Like very dense. No longer especially. But on your salesman hat, I can review it. It's probably the best video I've ever purchased. It's so dense and useful. Nice, Lindsay. Is that the surname? Yeah, I had to call TZ for some issues the other day. Like I made a TQQ options. I think it was small, and pretty much everything froze. Nah, it couldn't have been small because I wouldn't have called them if it was small. But like pretty much I made a TQQ plus options trade, and I put a limit order at 0 first, and then that actually got filled somehow, and then I put in the market order for like 6 shares. Long story short, I'm like, why can't I press anything? Why can't I get out? Why can't I get in? Yeah, I'm gonna call somebody. And so I called the support. Yeah, they seem to be having issues. Yeah, yeah. The last video of trading techniques. See that's the biggest thing. Like once you start the statistics, being able to track the statistics, you're gonna have a specific eye as well as like mindset to start tracking what's actually important. And to figure out what's important, you're gonna have to, actually pay attention to what do you think Steven thinks is important. Okay, what do you think other people think is important? And to do that, you're gonna have like several mentors in terms of like, just going on the internet, just thinking about what's the overall consensus, and then thinking like what's actually important and can be shown on a like Excel sheet and in an equation, and how's that going to help you in terms of applying it to like your emotions, your projection of how much you're going to make and things like that. Like, it's very conceptual kind of idea. But when you first glance at it, you're just like, man, this dude got like five lines on a Excel sheet. I was like, what does this number mean? What does that number mean? What is this gonna do? But the thing is, the whole process of like creating that sheet makes you a better trader. And then you get to a bunch of plateaus or like points where you're just like, okay, maybe this is enough to where I don't need to do this anymore. But at the end of the day, if you don't understand that like success and ability and like everything like that is like rented, is not owned, and the idea that once you take a loss or you're in a trade that's above your like actual comfort level, you're kind of a different person. You understand how valuable it is to actually go back to the basics and then start back up your discipline, back up your like healthy mindset that can perceive like in a bi-directional way what's happening in the stock, and then take the 3,000 foot view, kind of bigger picture, and like shoot the best place in the in like what you can perceive. Like I could definitely get into it, but all I know is like looking at the DVDs whenever you take a loss is definitely more educational than if you just pick it up with no idea what you're looking for. Yeah, that's all I have to say. So I think the Duxinator is so awesome because if you do track stats and look at all the charts over and over, you see what he's talking about, and you're like, dang, he's smart. Yeah. Yeah, and it makes you think like who comes up with that stuff, and like yeah. At the end of the day, all right, it's been an hour. We moved down $2. Still going down. I don't see anything in the small cap land. I'm gonna go watch the Maverick video. I saw something about we put troops in Somalia. I gotta figure out what that does. Okay, first I gotta watch this cat video and his soft landing. I'm gonna do all the calculations. Okay, now I can leave. All right, guys, have a good day. I'm going to head out. Be safe. Yeah, don't overtrade. Wait, why am I looking that way? There you go. Peace. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get used to that. I don't even know where. There you go.